Hello and welcome back to the Mania 4K World Cup recaps. We actually missed the semi-finals last week, so we are going to be covering that as well as the finals week 1. I'm Deadbeat and I am joined with Halogen, One Crystal, and Zach.
Yo,
Hello.
how are you doing?
So what do you guys think about the semis and finals week 1?
Oof. We can say a lot about it. A lot of really close matches and good matches. Of course, there was only a few of them. Most of them were one-sided, but we saw really impressive matches. We also saw a tiebreaker. Really, really good.
A couple of other notable things here is we saw a couple of teams go out in very one-sided blowouts, and we also lost our defending champions last year, the South Korean team, in the semifinals loser bracket.
Yeah, that was quite a surprise actually.
Yep,
You'd think
seems
that
like South Korea.
Yeah, you'd think they'd make it through the finals, but no.
Yeah, a lot of people were really surprised to see them get eliminated.
Yeah, and also by Brazil, a team that didn't even participate in the last Mania World Cup.
No, they didn't. It's their first time.
And not only that, too, and we touched on this a couple of times now, Brazil barely made it out of group stages, and they go and crush the defending champions in a 6-1 bout.
It's not just them they've been crushing though, they've been crushing a lot of teams.
Yeah, and also Brazil did lose against South Korea in the group stage. They were facing each other. So they took revenge.
I actually had to go back and figure out who they lost to, because I could never remember. But yeah, do we want to go into the picks and bans and stuff for the semifinals?
Okay, starting with the semifinals, we have Hold Angel as the most selected bitmap, followed by Beat New World and Cyberstorm. Really, I was expecting Beat New World to be selected quite a lot, but Hold Angel, of course, it's okay also, but Cyberstorm, that surprised me.
Cyberstorm is an extremely difficult map. I'm very surprised to see that was the third most picked beat map of the semis.
Yep, and for bans, we have the most banned song was John Tanaka and Dream to Nightmare, both getting banned 5 times.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, John Tanaka. No love for John Tanaka.
Not one bit. John Tanaka was an extremely brutal map, and then Dream to Nightmare was just laced with SV changes, so most players probably didn't want to deal with either of those.
Can't say I blame them really.
Yeah, those SVs are really, really brutal.
It was nice though that we got to see everything in the entire map pool picked at least once.
Yeah, who was it who picked John Tanaka? Was it Canada?
Yeah,
yes,
it
Canada.
was.
It was Canada.
Yeah. Good on them.
It was the match between Canada and the Philippines. Philippines ended up winning that one.
Yeah, speaking of that, for the matches we had Brazil going up South Korea, as we mentioned earlier. Brazil took that one 6-1, which was very surprising. Although I think some of us actually, well, I know Halogen, you predicted that Brazil would take that one.
Yeah, I had a feeling that their speed was going to definitely fall short because the semifinal map pool started to pick up the pace a little bit more out of the realm of accuracy that South Korea was used to.
Yeah, it seemed like Brazil was was performing better and better as the stages went on.
Yeah, but it was a close match after all. I mean, yeah, there were a big difference in terms of score, but during the match, I remember having fights in Quietus Ray and also Beat New World from both teams.
Yeah, Beat New World was like 13,000 point difference.
Yeah, it was really close. I mean, Korea still has the accuracy thing, but they are lacking on speed, so they had troubles with this map pool, and Brazil got favored, and they did 6-1, pretty nice.
Yeah, as well as that we had Japan versus United States, which I think was looking to be one of the bigger matches of the weekend, but it actually went to United States 6-0, which was really surprising.
Please talk about this one.
That was a match that not too many people were entirely sure. A lot of people knew that it was going to be a United States and Japan final, or a lot of people were saying it was going to be a US-Japan final, but neither team really knew precisely how well what team was. And actually, I had a little bit of a personal experience. In the very first map, we played Blue Zenith, and I ended up dropping, and that sent me into a panic because I wasn't sure how strong Japan was. But the match ended up going pretty much in our favor.
Yeah, I mean, despite that drop, you got the second highest score.
even so, just that break in accuracy, I didn't exactly know what I was up against.
Well, it was into Lysa because I'm a Hank. With also good scores.
You know, with only a single 50, it didn't go that bad.
Yep.
You never know. Never complacent.
True.
But overall, the match was not one-sided. I mean, Japan fight a lot until the end of most of the songs. You see something like Dysnomia and Hold Angel, B3, songs that has really hard endings. So until the end, they really try hard to beat you, but they simply couldn't. Etienne got a lot of double S's. Pretty much impossible to beat.
Yeah, it definitely was a good match to watch. Speaking of that, we also had Canada versus the Philippines, which the Philippines took 6-2. And as we mentioned earlier, this is the only match that actually had John Tanaka's team both unbanned and picked.
It was a really, really tough loss for Canada because I know there were chats going around that Ashix was suffering from a slight injury, and I'm pretty sure that certainly hurt the Canadian team's chances.
Definitely. But they were really close. I mean, they won in New War and Hesperites. And they were close in Cyberstorm and Hold Angel. It could be either way, also in B3. Actually,
Yeah,
it was a really, really close one.
Yeah, there were a few maps that were quite close, and definitely could have gone either way. Despite the fact that it was a 6-2 win there, it definitely was a bit closer than that.
Yeah, that's true. Tokiwa had a really impressive scores in almost every single map, and that was probably one of the... because Philippines ended up winning this one.
As well as that, we had Indonesia versus France, which Indonesia took 6-1, which really surprised me.
Out of all of the match results, I think that was the one that shocked me the most because France is known for having a really strong team. They had Lim38, of course, who was just incredible with accuracy, and the semifinal map pool was reasonably tame, but Indonesia really flexed themselves as a team, and they just stampeded France.
Yeah, like, I actually missed the one, and when I found out that France lost, I was just like, wait, what?
Yep. I was expecting Indonesia to win the match. I don't know why, but of course, when you see Lim38 playing, you say, wow, this guy is really,
I think the most
really
interesting
good.
pick of that match was Tokyo Teddy Bear, since Indonesia only won by 150 points.
Yeah, really intense difference.
Yeah, guys, let that sink in. On a total score between three players where you can get 3 million points, that match was decided by 150. Let it sink in.
1,300, basically, almost.
I think that's the closest match so far.
No,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
We have the Sakura Mirage in the group stage, 71 points, Canada.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I
I'd actually forgotten about that.
I think we all had.
that.
Except for this guy.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, France fight hard, but they couldn't beat Indonesia.
Yeah, after that we had China versus United Kingdom. Again, this is quite a surprise that the United Kingdom actually won 6-0.
Yeah.
I was expecting a UK win. I was not expecting a 6-0 win against that China team, though.
Yeah, because that China team was looking pretty good. So to see them go down 6-0 to UK was definitely a surprise.
Yep. I was expecting also the UK winning this one, but I thought that China might have a chance in the accuracy maps because they were really, really accurate in the last stages, I mean previous ones. But they had troubles with speed, and that's a fact. They have troubles with speed, and that's why United Kingdom beat them in songs like Wanderlust, Cyberstorm, and those kind of stuff.
And an important thing to mention too with this match is that even though it had the result that it did, by no means did the UK win this by a landslide. All of the margins for each match were really close. I mean, a couple of 30,000 wins, 30,000 point win, a 16,000 point win. These were not landslides by any means.
Yep.
Oh, I was kind of thinking like, wait, how were these not landslides? Because there's one, the MP lane for Blue Zenith looks like it's messed up a bit. So yep, Yop was on the Chinese team.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that happened. That was really
I'm like,
funny.
why is it saying that Blue won by 1.9 million? What?
Yep, you traitor.
I know. How could he? Yeah, moving on from that. After that, we had Malaysia versus Argentina, which it won. Do you want to cover this one?
Oh, why you do this to me? Oh well, I will tell. It was a 6-0 for Malaysia, win by default for them. We had a really big amount of issues combined together in a second, and we couldn't play the match. That's the only thing that I can say.
Yeah, you guys very literally had a perfect storm against you. You were unavailable for your own priorities, and then one of your players got really ill, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, right in the middle of the match. I mean, in the middle of the first warm-up.
Ooh.
So sad. But well, that kind of stuff happens. There's nothing that we can do about it.
That is a definite shame. So moving on from that, on the Sunday the 13th, we had Malaysia versus Philippines, which I gotta say, match of the weekend. Gotta be.
Match of the weekend, of course.
Honestly,
Like,
even
Malaysia-
as a player in the tournament, I would go on and say that this was and will be the match of the tournament because it was the most intense and hype match that we had.
Yeah, that match was actually 6-5 in favor of Malaysia. That was a really good match. Were Malaysia like 2 or 3 points down and just come straight back?
They were down 5-3, and they went on to win their pick and the Philippines pick.
Yeah, it was Wanderlust.
Yeah, the guys, anybody who's watching this, if you have not seen this match, go look up at the semifinals on the OSA Live channel. You need to watch this match. It is the pinnacle of the tournament. It was incredible.
Yeah, Malaysia is the only team that played 2 tiebreakers in this tournament.
That's
One in
actually a
group
good
stage
point.
and one in the semifinals.
Yeah.
They won one and they lost the other one.
Look at Juan keeping up with things better than us.
You know, it was actually quite a bit of surprise to see the Philippines get knocked out of the semis, but what
Yeah,
can you do?
but yeah, there's nothing that you can do. We saw Aina having some troubles with the easier maps, but he was doing constantly good in the high speed maps. But sadly for Philippines, it wasn't enough.
But
You know what? If you're going to go out that way, at least they went out in a blaze of glory. That was a great way to put up a fight.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I was actually thinking, like, when you think about it, during the semi-finals, we'd lost last year's first place and third place.
Yeah, second place and third place actually.
I thought Philippines got third.
Malaysia was the third one and Philippines the second one, right?
But then we also lost Korea.
Yep.
Yeah, they were the first place.
Oh,
Yeah, so we lost. Which ones?
first and second place in the same stage. Yeah.
We lost some big teams at the same time.
Yeah, but we had the
That
United
works.
States.
Yeah, anyway, moving along, after that we had Brazil versus Indonesia, which Brazil took 6-3.
That was another really good match, too. Basically, two teams who were being a bit more forceful in their map picks, picking some really hard stuff, so they clashed heads, and it was a pretty good showing for both teams.
Yeah, I think we had a general idea of how that was going to go when Brazil was just like, we're starting this off with Grief and Malice.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they finished off the match with Wanderlust.
Yeah,
More
they did.
Wanderlust.
That actually got picked up a lot more than I thought it would.
I would say it was picked a lot just because the faster teams could pick it to just smash their opponents.
Basically, yeah.
Sounds about right. I mean, Brazil did take that one by 270,000 points.
Huge lead, yep. But with that huge lead, they also won by only 10,000 points against the Indonesia in Quietus Ray. A really close match overall.
Yeah, and Blue Zenith was like 22,000. So I mean, there were a few close matches in there, but there were a few stomps as well.
We have everything, yep.
Yeah, the matches kind of went all over the place, but overall it was a really good weekend.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like, that was definitely a week of upsets and surprises.
Yep, that's it for the semifinals. I think we can move on to the finals and grand finals selection so far for this first
Yeah.
week.
So we recently had finals week 1. Zach, do you want to go over the matches for that? Oh no, you
Yeah.
did
All
the
right.
picks first.
So
The
all
map
right. So
picks.
diving into finals week 1, we started off with Malaysia versus Japan, which was a 6-0 for Japan. But some of the matches were a little bit close, but overall, Japan just outclassed Malaysia by too much, and they were not able to come back at all.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Malaysia were ready for like the map ball at all.
By no means, though, should Malaysia be considered a weak team or anything, because they did make it all the way to the finals, but they were just up against one of the teams to beat.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't think there's any shame in losing to Japan.
Yeah, Japan is a very strong team. They're very well balanced in what they can do, and they have a very good, well-rounded team who can handle speed, accuracy, etc.
Well, that's the reason why they are in the grand finals for the next week also.
That is true.
All right, so after that, we had China versus Brazil, which was also 6-0 in favor of Brazil. That one was actually still really interesting just because China was unexpectedly a really strong team throughout the tournament.
Yeah, it was like a big surprise of the tournament actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought China would definitely put up more of a fight there.
Yeah, to put China down in a shutout 6-0 is surprising, and this is basically the thing that a couple of people had been saying. The further you get, the more dangerous Brazil gets, and they definitely showed it there. They were not messing around. They picked a lot of the harder maps right out of the gates.
Yep, and then they end up winning almost, every map by quite a few. Like, the closer one was Ice Angel, 86,000.
No. The results for Ice Angel were incorrect because only one
Oh, yeah.
player disconnected and that was June.
Yeah,
Brazil
yeah.
still had all three of their players.
That makes more sense then. So, well, there's nothing that much. We can talk a lot about this match because it was really one-sided. Brazil took the hard stuff and they pulled off a really solid victory overall. Nader Rubin and Guilherme Messi had really strong players in terms of speed, and basically that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and directly after that match, we had Brazil up again against Japan this time. So it was rather interesting that they finish a match, and then directly after that match, they have to go right into another one, and then against Japan of all teams. And it ended up being a 6-1 in favor of Japan.
It was actually a pretty close match considering, like, when you look at the results, it's 6-1. When you look at the matches, and it's like, well, Battle of Little Sligo was like 23,000 points.
Yeah, and we also had Leaf Style Super Shredder, which was only decided by 27,000 points. So overall, it was still a really close match on some of them, but Japan just barely had the edge on them.
As a
Yep.
player who
Also-
has to play this map pool, I feel so bad for Brazil having to duke it out twice with almost no break. That is a really tough thing to do, and you have to give them props for going up against one of the strongest teams remaining in the tournament and still putting up a really good fight.
I actually just
Yep,
noticed they
definitely.
actually played Plastic Riots.
Yeah, I was about to say that it's the only match that we saw Blasting Riot.
I actually didn't know we saw it at all. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so far we have almost every single map selected of this stage. Genga, Osofun, Japanese Transformation, and Trickstars are missing still, but maybe we will see them in the next weekend.
One can only hope. But after that, we had, later on in the afternoon, we had United Kingdom versus United States, which was 6-0 in favor of the United States.
Okay, so I actually missed this one, as I'm sure people noticed. From what I can tell from the MP link, this looked like quite pissed off.
Yep.
Yeah. UK is one of the stronger teams, but they just could not match up against the USA. Halogen would probably be good to take over for this one.
Yeah, this is it's really tough to say anything bad about the UK because even though it was a 6-0, it was a 6-0 match. The UK is very similar in terms of team structure to the United States. They have three very well-balanced players. The only difference is the United States just seems to have a stronger team overall, and that seemed to be a pretty common theme for us this tournament, where we've run into a couple of teams that are well balanced. We had South Korea early on, is a well balanced team, but they start to drop off at certain difficulties. It's the same here. So UK, again, a very, very good team nonetheless.
I want to point out about that match, the last big conspiracy. Come on. Conspiracy of silence. It was, of course, a win for the United States since it was 6-0, but all the UK players managed to survive all the song, which is really good.
Yeah, Conspiracy of Silence is absolutely insane. You deserve to be commended if you can get through that map. That is very, very painful.
It's actually one of the few times that you haven't actually hit 900,000 points.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you almost actually didn't even get an S rank on that.
Yeah, my best on that sits just above the S threshold. I actually did decently well in that match compared to what my best was.
Cool. Well, that seems to be all for the Saturday matches. And the Sunday, you wanna go ahead, Zach, with the last
Yeah.
match?
On Sunday, our only match of the day was United Kingdom versus Japan, which was actually our third place match, and Japan won 6-3.
That was a really good match. I was actually expecting that to be a 6-0, 6-1 win for Japan.
At first everyone was expecting that to be a full sweep, but then United Kingdom stepped up their game considerably and just came back really well.
That Scales the Struggle pick was so unexpected, and it worked so well.
Yeah, they just knew the right maps to pick and forced Japan to actually fail.
Yeah, they played to strategy exceptionally well in this match. I mean, when you pick something like Scale of Struggle, and this was mentioned in the commentary of the match too, the score gap throughout the song does not matter at all. It is a matter of whether or not you pass, especially for Scales, because there is no hope for a revive in that map. The difficulty is all concentrated right at the end, so if you make a player fail, they're gone. Their score is eliminated. And that was a common theme too, because when you move on to the UK's other pick, which was the Empress, they targeted Japan to try to make somebody fail, and Piratom actually did not pass the map and could not revive. So that was another really good pick on their part.
Yeah, he really struggled with that quite a lot.
Yeah, but we have two other things to say about this map. I mean, this match. Japan selected Speed of Link.
Yes.
That shocked everybody. Nobody expected that to be picked at all. And then at the end of it, Piratom actually failed and could not revive in time. He almost did, but just was not close enough.
Yep, and it causes the Japan his possibility to get 6-2. Hopefully they end up winning because of the other thing that I wanted to talk. 44 River instead of Yura Yura selection of the United Kingdom at the end of the match. I think we all wanted to see Yura Yura. It was probably a better map to select.
In a situation when you as the captain are really conscious about your song picks and you make a really well-advised decision to pick the Empress and notice that one of the players on the Japan team fails, you would think that you would want to pick a map with a very similar structure, and that's why the commentators were all talking about how Yura Yura would have been a very viable pick for them because it's very similar. But they ended up going with 44 River potentially as a safe pick to make sure that everyone could just get through and hopefully get through better than Japan, but it unfortunately did not work.
I was still a little sad that Japan didn't go for the Battle of Little Slugger. That probably would have made a lot more sense in the Speed of Link.
Yep, probably. I was expecting High Priestess, so...
Yeah, High Priestess could have been a good pick, being that Intelize is on the Japan team and it's his map. I mean, that's just a sense of familiarity that no other team's really going to have here. And then Little Slugger would have been a great pick for Japan too, because it's one of the tamer maps here. And I think Japan could have probably outclassed the UK on that. I could be wrong, but with their accuracy, I think it would have been a pretty good run.
Yeah, so that was the Finals Week 1. next week we have finals week 2, which will be United States versus Japan, the rematch.
Oh yeah, that's what we wanted to see. We all
that
wanted
will
to see that final
yeah.
match.
This will be on Sunday, the 27th of September at 2 a.m. But yeah, so that should definitely be a match to look forward to. The United States will obviously, in fact, have the advantage here as they will be in the winner bracket. How are you feeling about this one, Halogen? You looking forward to it?
Oh, I am completely ready for this. I mean, this is the rematch that Japan gets, and I'm really interested to see how strong they're gonna go. I've wanted to give some credit where it was due here, because when we ran into Japan in the semifinals, I got a little bit complacent, and I'll even say it, I got borderline cocky, because I felt like Piratom was going to be pretty much the third wheel for Japan, but their performance in the finals was substantially better than I was expecting, and I think it's going to make it a little bit more interesting of a match now that I know that the whole team in general is very well balanced and they can keep up with just about everything that we can. It's going to be a matter of who keeps up better with the songs.
It's going to be quite interesting as well, because both teams have now seen how they handle the map. So you know how Japan has handled particular maps, and they know how you've handled particular maps. It's definitely going to make the banning and picking phase a lot more interesting.
It could, yeah. There could be very strategic picks here. Some maps that we might have expected to pick may get nullified now, and yeah, it's gonna be cool to see exactly what we're gonna be up against. I'm pretty sure we're gonna play a couple more maps that we did not get the chance to play in our finals match against the United Kingdom.
Can't wait for this. This is definitely going to be a really good grand finals.
I said in the semifinals, when United States and Japan face each other, this is a match of the century. And this is round 1, because they will probably face again in the final map. And final match, I mean.
Yeah, I think people have been expecting the United States-Japan grand final for a while now.
And now we finally got it.
Yep, we got what we wanted. But yeah, do you guys got anything else you want to add before we close this down?
I just want to wish luck to Halogen and of course the Japan team too. And hopefully it will be a really, really good match.
Yeah, I'm expecting a good match.
I'm hoping for one.
And I'm hoping to bring it.
Get ready to play the tiebreaker, Halogen.
Oh. Don't worry, if you slip, you've got another chance.
No!
Yeah, that is the good. Is even if Japan manages to beat you, they have to do a complete other match against you again.
Yep. Good old double elimination brackets.
Anyway,
awesome if that happens. I mean, not for I mean, I don't want you to lose, Halogen, but
my
making
hands,
the match longer.
Please stop.
Anyway, I think we will end it there. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you on Sunday at the Grand Finals.